Alright, hello everybody. We are back for Reuben's one and only bad ending, and I'm hoping that the combination of choices I've done will result in the bad ending, because there's a branch here. While this choice can lead to the bad ending, it could also branch away from the bad ending depending on certain things, and I don't know what those things are. Actually, I'll just show you. On the flowchart here, you will see we will do this. And then it branches here. We're not flexible, so we should go into here. But there's also like another branch where it's either bad end or not bad end. So I don't know what's going to happen. But we're going to find out together and see if my luck holds out. We're going to search for the trio now, no matter what. Going to the scene felt like a waste of time for me if finding the trio was the priority. I could search for them from here. That was the whole point of what I'd been doing all afternoon. And what if they tried to flee the city because of this? If I didn't search now, we could miss them entirely. I glanced towards the hall that led to the deployment room. The meeting hadn't finished yet, so maybe I should just try it. It couldn't hurt. I shut my eyes and leaned against Reuben's desk, expanding my sphere. It encompassed the building and beyond. But a sudden hand on my shoulder jolted me back to the office before I could do anything else.
Morgan, what are you doing?
Just practicing while I wait.
The meeting dismissed, so we'll be leaving soon.
Don't you think I should take a few minutes to look for them from here before we go? I can save us some time if I locate our trio now, and I can save us from having this case taken away from us.
Is that what you were doing? Not practicing, but actually trying to find them?
My entire existence has been this case and trying to use it to prove some greater point, and that's 5 seconds away from evaporating from under me. Do you think if Endgame gets involved in this, they're going to be able to ignore my presence? I am this close to losing my chance to do any of the things we were trying to do by keeping me here. You realize that, right?
I understand. Ugh, hold on. Don't do anything else yet.
He left my side when someone across the room called him, and for a moment I watched and thought that I should just listen to him, respect their process. The fact that Espers could bypass the normal process with such ease was part of the fear, and I had towed that line. Just, but not without occasionally stepping over it. I huffed a sigh and leaned back on the desk again. It felt more and more like the processes needed to adapt to our skills. I glanced Reuben's way again, then expanded my sphere in one go because I could not lose this chance. Oh boy, here we go. I winced at the massive influx of information, but was able to block out what was superfluous and focus on the massive amounts of psi signatures instead. Much of the blur of light was green. There were a few dots of gold, a single flash of red, and 2 multicolored groups. One was stationary, and another was in motion, darting from one place to the next. Moving too fast for me to see the colors clearly, they blurred together in a purplish smear that caught my eye before I'd done more than glance at the other. That must be our trio. Fleeing, as I thought. I homed in on them before they could jump to a new location, trying to figure out where they were. Someone else's awareness of me flickered to life, and there was a pause. For a brief moment, the colors of Psi cleared up. Orange, blue, and red. Not purple. For a terrifying moment, it felt like the owner of the red Psi stared directly at me, a feeling I couldn't describe. This was a mistake! Instant terror gripped me out of nowhere. There was a flash of something. Like he threw a bundle of tightly packed psi my way. It slammed into my sphere with a spark, then explosion of pain in my mind engulfing everything. I didn't have time to back away or flee. I think I screamed. Whether it was in my mind or in real life, I wasn't sure. And it was over in an instant. Everything went silent and dark. Oh no! He was like, well,
I better show up because I'm the last boy, so, I'm running out of time. Okay, I'll make an appearance in the bad ending then, shall I? Perfect, capital, I say.
That's where you were hiding. You were hiding in the bad ending. Hi, you. Well, we had to stop meeting like this, with me being a patient. We got mind bombed, oh no.
She'll recover. It wasn't a particularly strong mind bomb, and the damage was minimal. I suspect more than anything that she simply wasn't prepared for it. We'll have to move her to our facility for treatment, though. Dr. Sosky, if you move her...
His jaw tightened and he looked away.
If we move her, it is unlikely she will be permitted to leave. I am very aware. But the fact that this happened gives rise to questions about the practicality of having an untrained Esper in this line of work. Particularly when there are no resources to handle even a simple injury such as this. At this point, there's nothing I can do about it. I can't treat her here. Dr. Sosky, they're asking if we will be needing a transport. I believe it's safe for you to do so. Her condition is not critical at this time. Shall I transport you first or Miss Leone? It would be best to do it in 2 trips, I believe, but it's your call as the medical lead. Of course it is. Return me to Corsolaris so I have time to prep for her arrival. Understood.
They vanished, leaving Reuben alone with Morgan in the quiet hospital room. We're just the third-person narrator at this point. He took her hand, watching her face for any sign of her regaining consciousness, though he knew she would not. They had induced a coma for her safety. If she had just... waited. They didn't know for sure what had happened, but Reuben figured that she must have looked around with Psy one last time before they left, and encountered a bishop who did not want to be found. At the very least, he wasn't sure other ranks were capable of mind bombs. All Reuben knew was that he'd stepped away from her for a moment, and she suddenly screamed, then hit the floor. By the time he was at her side, she was already unconscious. It had been the single worst moment of his life when he realized he couldn't do a thing to help her. And now, this. There was a flash of light behind him, and Ari was back.
Have her contact me when she's awake. Of course.
He stepped up to the bedside and set a hand on Morgan's shoulder. When he glanced Reuben's way, his passive expression had melted into something like sympathy. Aw, my little potato emotion boy. Ugh, Ari.
I am sorry this didn't work out as any of you planned.
It was all he said before they vanished. Oh, you're gonna leave me with the sad Reuben just sitting in a chair being sad? No, it's heartbreaking. Reuben sat staring at the empty space on the bed for a long time before Winter finally came to get him. They still had a lot of work to do. And dealing with this would have to wait. It's a hell of a timeout. Just gotta say, man, that got me. I mean, she's gonna be okay. And I don't think there's anything against, like, not dating outside of Endgame, but should be a hell of a hard relationship to maintain. If the council would even, like, permit her to go out for a while, because they're fond of keeping their talons in. Oh, man. That is a very sad bad ending, honestly. I'm all deflated. Well, thanks for giving me a laugh for a little bit, at least in the bad ending. By showing up for a bit. Right, well, that is that, everybody. Thank you for joining me for Reuben's bad ending. Only one boy left to go here, but we're taking a break and going back to Band Camp Boyfriend, and we got a bit of a side story situation happening over there before we get to the final route. So, curious to see what's going to happen with that. Hopefully I will see you there. Until next time, I will see you later.